Ready?
Set.
Welcome to Zero Hit Points, everybody. It's August 14th. I'm Ryan Miller. I promise I'm ready, Matt Amberg.
Okay.
What?
I'm ready. Did this just start?
I like how saying that just threw you off guard.
Yeah.
That was the thing. What do I do now?
Yeah, I don't know. You said my name and I don't know.
That was it. Oh, it's because I didn't. Okay, I got it. And I promise I'm ready, Matt Amberg.
What? Are we? I'm still so confused as to what is happening.
Okay. Well, this is Zero Hit Points. This is the one we do every week about video games. Comes out on Tuesdays. Talk about games we've played, things that we like, and a couple fun things this week. Let me tell you. Well, are you ready? You need to be ready.
Okay, but why do you keep asking my name and saying it?
Matt Amberg.
What? Hello. How you doing? It's good to see you. It's good to be seen. Great.
I haven't seen you since, well, technically last year, I guess. Did we see each other this year? No, we haven't seen each other this year.
Not yet. Not yet.
PAX is in like less than a month. We haven't even talked about that. We're going to see each other then.
Yeah. C as in like C is for cookie and you're good enough for me.
That's going to be the subtitle of our PAX coverage this year, actually, I think.
C is for cookie.
And it's good enough for me.
PAX. C is for cookie. And it's good enough for me. Relevancy all around.
When does your flight get in? What's your ID number? What's your flight number? What's the social security?
I can actually tell you right now. Give me a moment.
You sent me your flight plans. I'm just messing with you.
I don't remember when I get in. I think I get in pretty early, though. I get in at like noon. Yeah, I get in 1 o'clock, I guess. 12:31.
Hey, I think I might get in at 12:31 too.
What?
Yeah. Hey, do you want to hawk your tickets here in front of all these
guys?
Oh,
yeah. Hey, anybody, if you're going to PAX and you want to go to PAX and you need PAX tickets, we have extras. I've got Friday, Sunday, and Monday. Saturday, all sold out. But if you want to go any of the other days, let me know. Tickets will be retail. There will be no scalping fee. Yeah. I will be happy to provide you the tickets at PAX, and you can provide me money at PAX because I'll be there. And Ryan will be there, and Ryan will be the middleman. He can touch everything. Like, I'll hand him the tickets. You hand him the cash. He'll take both of them and run down the street.
I'm often in between everything. That's correct.
Yes. And then he'll go to Jimmy John's and buy a couple of sandwiches.
I did go there once during PAX.
We've been there.
PAX restaurant rundown. Subway, Jimmy John's, Taco Del Mar.
Jersey Mike's.
We
went to Bluesy Sushi once.
We did. That was the conveyor belt one, right?
Yeah.
That's too scary.
We went up the street before they closed to Pike Place Fish Fry, and those tacos.
Oh, that's right. Did we do that 2 years? That place is phenomenal.
They closed.
Oh.
They were shut. They closed the year after we went.
Well, I guess that makes sense, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, because we liked it.
It takes about a year for word to get around.
Right.
That we went there.
Apparently the landmark wasn't big enough. Like we were there. People didn't hear about it, and they were like, "Oh man, Zero Hit Point." Oh.
Yeah. I must have left like a business card there or something and just. So yes, meet us at PAX. In fact, no meetup this year. Am I incorrect?
No meetup this year.
Remember.
I think we're gonna wing it. We're gonna go out and do stuff and hang out with people. We're not gonna.
No official meetup.
Yeah, we're not gonna ask you to meet up with us. We're gonna wait for you to ask us. So we'll be in the hotel room the entirety of PAX.
We'll still put up our coverage as normal. We probably still do a podcast every night.
Yeah, in fact, I think we've got a couple people that want to come on the show too. So
hey,
we'll have some guest commentators.
You're in charge of that because I don't know anybody, so I can't wait to find out.
Well, the people have talked to me about it already, at least one of them. So we'll find out.
I love them.
It's going to be great.
You know what else I love?
It's Adam, who's not coming to PAX.
No. Oh, okay. Love is a strong word.
Oh.
Like, I'm attracted to him sexually.
Okay. You cannot cut that out. But look, I want to point something out, that your love for him, there's an exchange rate. So it really comes down to more of a, I like you.
That's true. It's a Canadian love.
Right.
It's often what I Canadian love you, I say to my wife often.
And she's like, that doesn't sound great.
I'm like, the exchange rate is getting better every day.
And it changes, it does. Some years, right now we're in a downturn.
We keep it interesting.
Yeah, no, it's fun.
Video games is what I also love.
I like them and I play them sometimes. I picked up a new game this week out of sheer disgust for myself. You're like, hey, look at me. I'm going to buy a new game too. I'm going to play Tekken 7, a game that I've never heard about. I've just seen it and it looks fun. So I'm going to do that. Look at me. So I was like, yeah, I could finish The Last of Us this week like I said I was going to, but no, why would I do that? I'm so close to the end, and you haven't told me if you got to the part that I'm at yet. So
I did a good job. No, I did a good job this week. I didn't get to where you are, but I played that thing because I can't, because if my wife's here.
Oh, you played it. You actually played it.
No, I did. I played a bunch of it. Yeah, I'm hours into it.
Okay.
I'm not to winter yet, but.
Okay, yeah, you've got a ways to go.
I have
winter takes
half a page of notes already, so it's going to be.
That'll be terrific.
Rough.
Okay. Yeah, so I didn't finish that. Could have.
Okay.
Didn't. Instead, I had it sitting there for the longest time. I finally installed and started playing BattleTech, which
Nice.
made by Jordan Weissman and the folks at Harebrained Studios that came out with Shadowrun. This is
the most recent. Like this BattleTech came out pretty recently, though, right?
Yeah.
This year? Yeah.
A couple months ago, like maybe 2 months ago.
Yeah.
At most.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great, man. It's a turn-based strategy game. You got all sorts of different mechs that you can screw with. I haven't really gotten that far. I'm still getting through kind of the intro bit, but you can upgrade your mechs and it's got an interesting story so far. I like that at the beginning when you're creating your character, it starts off with kind of it's almost Mad Libs. Like you fill in kind of the blanks so that the story kind of forms around the blanks that you fill in.
Okay.
So
right.
Like at the beginning, there's all these different like clans you can choose, and they all have different like pluses and minuses, and I don't know that they really matter so much in terms of story. They're just like fun background things, and probably dialogue, like flavor dialogue. But
Sure.
It's cool, man. It's real fun. I dig the game a lot. I'm looking forward to getting further into it.
I haven't heard a bad thing about that game, but I don't know a whole lot about what the loop is, or like what's like. Take me through a game, more or less.
So you have your kind of base story, and as the story progresses, you're kind of dropped into combat scenarios that are find this out, and the story kind of builds as you play throughout the scenarios. And the scenarios are they're turn-based strategy, so you have your 3 characters or however many mechs you have on the field, and you can move them one by one, and they can only do one thing, one action, one move, one action. And if you end up coming into contact with enemies, then it's depending on how things are laid out, you'll get one move or maybe 2 moves, or one move for one person and one move for another person, or only one move for one person. You can kind of reserve it so you can do multiple moves at one time.
Okay.
And then the game builds out like there'll be smaller enemies and then mechs that you have to fight, and it kind of throws all that stuff at you, and the varying levels of mechs and power and weapons all matter in how you're playing and what you're fighting. So it's pretty cool. It's fun, man.
What would you say its closest analog is out there? Like, is it a little XCOM-y? I know that's easiest for me if you say turn-based
Yeah,
strategy.
I mean, sure. That's pretty much it. I mean, yes, it's XCOM with mechs. That's super reductive, but
right. That's what I was guessing. Is there something that sets it apart? Like, is there a mechanic or a thing that's like?
It's the fact Battletech, because they call them battle mechs in the game, but it's called Battletech and it's mech war. No,
that's helpful.
It's it's like what sets it apart? I mean, it's a totally different world. I mean, it's a different play style, it's a different thought process. With XCOM, your strategy comes into play more along the lines of a lot of lots of line of sight, and this is similar too. Okay. But it's just different. I don't know how to. It's different, but it's the same.
Maybe we'll get deeper into that.
It plays. I guess. Let's put it this way: it plays in a very similar manner, but instead of it being military versus aliens, you're mechs versus mechs, and it's more human story.
Has somebody made a game called Mechs, like MECHS, like Mechsicans? Has anybody done that yet?
No, but I feel like this could be a huge. This is a demographic that I think could be really, really exciting.
Copywriting it as we speak.
That's a
Just
good
kidding.
idea.
I'm actually just typing a bunch of garbage into this document that's not going to help me later. Okay, there we go. Fixed.
Behind the scenes, when we're taking notes and talking about things on paper, it's really just a bunch of jump. We just look at wingdings all day.
Well, so to speak. So Battletech, cool. All right.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I like it. It's
All right.
funsies.
I played Battletekken.
Oh, did you play the guy who's like bald, but he has like weird hair that goes out of the side of his head? Is that Tekken?
Heihachi or Heihachi, I guess. Yes, I know his name now. Even
Yeah. Have you fought him?
I did. Well, okay. So I did the story mode most of all. I fought as him. It's very much taken from like the Mortal Kombat fighting game story mode type thing that they nailed ever so long ago.
The traveling through each character
Yes.
and how it all comes together. Yeah.
You're going through a story and then it'll get to a fight and you'll play out the fight. And if you don't play it out the right way, there is definitely. Did Mortal Kombat ever mess with win-loss? I can't remember. Like, I think if you lost it, you had to redo it until you did it the right way to continue the story.
There was no. It was just you died. Play again.
That seems like an easy branch right there. If you die, the story goes a different way. I bet that shows up.
It's just work, man. I think that's just work.
All right. This doesn't do that either, but it's.
Way to build that up.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh man, that's cool. Like now I'm really into this. And
what I did know about Tekken was that it was kind of more in a Virtua Fighter type vein, which that could be completely backwards for all I know. Virtua Fighter could be in a Tekken vein. But it kind of had that feeling to it as opposed to a Mortal Kombat or a Street Fighter or something like that. And that it was just unabashedly Japanese and fun in that way.
Sure.
And I have not been let down in the least.
Nice.
I can tell you. Yeah. The story mode is more self-serious, but in a way that you can enjoy. Not like Mortal Kombat was self-serious, because that was definitely, winking.
There is no there's no seriousness to that at all.
Okay, yeah, that an argument can be made for that as well.
I mean, I guess the seriousness is the joke of it all, that they're taking it kind of seriously, but they're not at all.
Yeah, you're right. It's apples to oranges. This one is there's no wink and a nod here, but it is very much kind of it's anime, I guess. That's the style, right? Like anime a lot of the times isn't necessarily serious. Yes, but it's melodramatic. But it's good. It's doesn't get crazy until you start doing the character episodes, because I did finish the story mode, and it's basically Heihachi kills his son Kazuya, I think,
living the dream as a father. Good.
But it turns out, because he's a devil, and I think this is all the story mode actually does bring in a lot of the past games, which is really cool. It does what I think also a game I don't know a whole lot about is the Metal Gear thing, where they actually have flashbacks like prior games, like using cutscenes from those prior games and sometimes like engine stuff or whatever.
Sure.
So that you fight out a couple scenes from past games in this game. So that was cool. I didn't have the knowledge. Like a Mortal Kombat fighting game story mode is way more impactful to me because I know those characters kind of just,
right.
for 30 years or whatever.
Right.
So that it didn't land as much like that did, but it was still super fun, and it's warring corporations, if it could get any more Japanese. So
good. Sounds good. I'm into it. It's that.
Good. It's fun. And it's short, so I am onto the character episodes already.
Mm-hmm.
Those even better. I don't know if you've checked my game clips.
Not yet, no.
Definitely anybody do that. I've been clipping. I played the Panda Bear.
Mm-hmm.
So the character episodes are just you choose the character and you win a fight, and then it gives you a little cutscene at the end, basically.
Yeah, so it's your Mortal Kombat endings.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I did that with the Panda.
Jack Black.
Yeah, no.
And
well,
they're like Kung
I was going to
Fu
say
Panda.
not the Kung Fu Panda, but that would be incorrect also. This panda does probably know Kung Fu. But then I also played as the bear, because there's a bear who knows Kung Fu.
Sure.
And they're all super funny. The best one is Mitsumitsu.
Mashumatsu. No, I don't know what his name is.
One of us got it right between those two.
Mitsubishi is all I heard.
Mitsubishi. So he looks like a xenomorph, kind of. He's got like big long things, and he's an alien. And he has a face. And
sure.
But then he acts like a Japanese schoolgirl. Like the boy he fights, he thinks is really cute, and when he dies, like he's like, "Oh no!" and he revives him. But then he sees him, and it's like, "Oh!" and there's like a boing in the background and stuff like that. It's so good. They're so fun.
I don't know what you're saying to me right now, but I want to play it bad.
They're so fun. I clipped them all, so if you want, he gets kicked in the nuts at the end, and that's kind of how it wraps up.
That's the one thing Sigourney Weaver never tried. Just kick him right in the junk. It's like Wolfman's got nards. Alien might have nards too.
Well, that's it. I did play a bunch, like I said, of Last of Us, but we'll talk about that.
Let's talk about that next week.
Keep trying.
Hopefully,
I'll get there.
Okay.
Moving on through. Loving it. I can tell you that much.
Excellent.
There was probably little chance of that not happening, but
we'll have that discussion. I think there's some good stuff in there, some not so great stuff. We'll find out.
We could turn it into a podcast, honestly.
The last of podcasts.
Yeah, would be the Last of Us. Mm-hmm. But it's okay because we got plenty of news to talk about. QuakeCon was this week, and man, you're gonna have to lead me through a third of this because I watched our movie right up until we started recording.
Well, way to be on top of everything, Rye Guy.
But I did get to watch the extended gameplay thing for Rage 2.
Yeah.
So we can start there.
All right, let's start with Rage 2. I think the biggest thing that I got out of that particular gameplay thing was that they are doubling down on the vehicle combat. And in doing
kind of Mad Maxy.
And in doing so, it looks exactly like Mad Max, which makes perfect sense because Avalanche made Mad Max. And
oh shoot,
I also think that gameplay in Mad Max was pretty solid. Like once you got into it, once you kind of learned it, it flowed really well. And doing they are doing exactly the same thing. Where in Mad Max, you were in the car and there were vehicles that would come from the different clans or whatever, and the clans had these giant convoys, and you had to blow the convoys up to get to the big truck. Same exact thing. They're doing nothing different here outside of the skin on it, and they've probably refined the controls. That's cool though. It was fun. That looks cool.
I heard the Mad Max car combat was one of the stronger points of that game, wasn't it?
I personally, that whole game was actually really good to me.
No,
I mean, I don't think
I've heard people loved it in kind of a B game type way, but
I guess. I don't know. I thought that was actually...
No, that's not a down. No, that's a good.
I'm just saying, I guess I thought that was a more solid game than other people did. In any case, yeah, the car combat was really fun in it. And it looks good here.
It does.
I think, though, that one of my issues with what they showed here, it didn't feel like Rage anymore. It felt like a really by-the-numbers kind of shooter with...
No, wait, you want it to feel like the first game, though?
I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Instead of looking more Rage-like and more unique as to me, Rage had a pretty unique look to it to a point. And it just feels like this is way more by the numbers, like shooter sci-fi thing that you're doing. You're doing a post-apocalyptic shooter. It looks like...
I mean, I'll admit, that's not what's bringing me into this thing if I get into it at all. Like I like the look of Rage, but I didn't, and maybe that wasn't everybody's problem with the first game, but I could take or leave the way this thing looks right now. I mean, I like that they've kind of toned back because remember the launch trailer was kind of like, okay, like right. Overloady, like, and they leaned into it and that's what it was going to be. That's cool. Set the tone. You did it. I like that they kind of came back on that a little bit with this, but it's the gameplay. So maybe you would kind of just naturally, but yeah, I mean, none of that's bringing me into this. I'm kind of just like open world id shooter. Okay, check.
Sure.
I'm in. What else? And we'll see.
I guess I'm just right now, like that first trailer I was more interested in with how bombastic it was, and this where they're like getting into the nuts and bolts and then showing off how it plays. I don't know, man. Bethesda's got another game coming out that's a first-person shooter that kind of has way more interest for me.
Well, okay, we'll get there. That's
But you did.
We don't want to talk about anything in terms of that other game where this is all just going to go downhill. Well, it was a gameplay trailer. Let's talk gameplay. They showed the shooting, which I feel like we've seen enough of. Or
by out of everything from that game, the shooting, all of it looked very by the numbers. It looks fine.
Nothing special. Maybe it's shooting, but there's like ults in there. Like, was that doing anything for you?
Not like they didn't the one they showed, the force push thing. Like I actually really like. There's like something where you can throw a ball that kind of pulses and you can jump into it.
Bounces you up, yeah.
And it bounces you up, and that was kind of cool. Like I can see how that.
Because then you can ground pound, yeah. No,
yeah, but the force push thing is like. And then even the way it's done, it just Okay. Let's see what else you
Yeah.
got. Show me more.
Kind of didn't do much either. Yeah. We'll see. I mean, honestly, whenever this comes out, spring 2019, I guess it actually said at the end, it's just going to be a question of time for me. Like I feel like so far this isn't the game I'm looking forward to in that time period. Like it's probably going to come out and I'm going to be like, well, I'm playing this right now. We'll see.
Right.
You know.
I'm real curious how the one thing that you mentioned that does kind of bring it back to that level of interest where it's like I don't want to write it off. I mean, again, one gameplay trailer, one other trailer. I'm not writing anything off yet.
No.
But
no.
The open world bit, like that does appeal to me a lot. So, if it's a by the numbers shooter but it's a good open world with a fun story, that does a whole lot for me, man. I could deal with, just by the numbers mechanics, standard, good, solid mechanics is fine with me.
Cool. So. How much did you want to talk about Fallout 76? That's the 33% I didn't get to read up on here.
You know what? Let's talk about Fallout 76 because a lot of information was released about said game that kind of might clear up some of the questions that people were having. There was no gameplay that I saw. It was just
really?
A panel.
That explains this 53-minute video that I didn't watch.
Right, and I did watch that. I watched. I did. It was pretty good. The game is it's weird. It's a very, very odd game. So they kind of base the whole thing off of you wake up on Reclamation Day, you go through the standard Bethesda character customization, so you can look, change your face and all that stuff. They have a built-in photo mode, and you kind of you have to do it right away to kind of make a key card or something. So you get to choose how you look and what facial expression you're making. And all that customization can be changed throughout the game all the time. You don't ever have to you can change everything about your character. At no point do you have to stay with anything about them. You can change hair, color, sex, all that stuff. It's all changeable. So
yeah, smart for an online game, especially.
Yeah. And again, they have the photo mode thing, so that's cool. You can use it all over the place, which is neat. The loading screens that they have, which are I guess they're claiming they're not a ton of them, but the ones that they do have will actually use the photos that you've taken as like a slideshow type thing. So that's kind of cool.
Sure.
Gameplay wise, so let's get into that. So you're not saving anything. It's kind of like you have an auto save. You're not clicking, menu, file save, whatever. Your camp it basically gets turned into it's totally mobile, so you can put someplace up and say, this is where I'm going to build my camp, where I'm going to live, where I'm going to do my stuff. But as you explore further, if you want to move it, you can. And in the event that your camp does get destroyed due to a nuclear bomb, that happens. Your camp and everything can be set to a blueprint, so you can actually just go pop and it's back.
Okay, all right. So that takes care of a little bit of the griefing possibilities, I guess.
And let's talk about griefing. So they had Todd Howard had some pretty fun things to say about griefing, and the way he put it was actually pretty good. They decided to make people who are going to be jack-offs an actual interesting function. So, couple things. First being, you do not have to participate in PvP. When somebody comes up to you and attacks you, the first attack is he referenced it as being like a slap. Doesn't matter if it's a gun. It doesn't matter.
I challenge you.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's a gun. Doesn't matter what it'll do next to no damage. It does nothing. But if you do not want to fight somebody and they continue to slap you to the point where you die, they are marked with a giant X. Every single person on the map can see that person. They are then hunted by everybody on the map for a bounty. The bounty comes directly out of their bank. So, and it's a high bounty too. So,
okay, all right. See, that's the problem because I feel like GTA Online actually has something similar to this, but it's inconsequential. I mean, I guess you can go into passive mode there, so whatever. But
so and they do have a passive mode that is So, because I guess what they ran into in some of the play tests were in their own studio. These are Bethesda.
I'm gonna
Bethesda
say, I bet
developers.
they have people in the studio that are like, okay, you're the griefer. Like, do everything you can.
They actually did do that. So he talked about the fact that they actually did set that up. But just during gameplay, people were doing things like, so they had a if you shot somebody, that was like your indication, like you're firing off the first bullet. So if they attack you back, you're in PvP, go to town. So people would be out hunting things and they'd shoot at something, and other players, the Bethesda dev team again, which cracks me up, would jump in front of the bullets so they could PvP the hell out of the other person. So they were like, okay, we're going to leave that in, but we're also going to go ahead and give you a passive mode so that cannot happen. So they are taking griefing seriously.
Well, that was one of our main questions. I feel like last time we talked about this, you were still shaking your head like, I don't know, like that ruins the game right now still.
There there are things we'll see how that plays out.
Yes.
Because that could easily, like, maybe there's something I'm not thinking about that is a way to game it. I don't know.
Well, I mean, will it actually deter people from, if they can shoot you until you die, like?
Well, and I think it takes a while. I think there's more to it than just that. But I think the big deterrent here is you are going to be hunted by every single person on the map, and you are going to lose things.
Okay. That's got to get old for anybody.
You are straight up, every cap you collect, all that money you have, if you kill somebody that doesn't want to play that game, you're going to lose a lot of them.
Okay, all right.
They talked about how one of the things, and this was just too funny, they kept talking about how when you go out into the world, one of the things that you're going to be collecting is junk. You want to have a lot of junk.
I do.
Yeah, everybody does. Just junk everywhere, because junk is what you'll use to craft weapons and mods and stuff like that. So one of the things they talk about is that while junk is going to be a thing that maybe you collect a bunch of it and then you get killed, the junk is still there, but do you want to travel back to it to pick it up because it's that far away? Do you want to deal with whatever happened, or do you just keep going? Like, what's your time sink there? Because maybe it's a lot of junk and you really, really want to bring that back because it was so much that finding that all again is just going to take you days.
Can somebody else pick it up?
Well, see, and that's the other thing. I think they can, but I'm not sure. They didn't talk about that. Like, that was something that was kind of, you can definitely be looted to a point, but not everything. You can't, like, when you die, you don't lose your weapons, you don't lose your armor, you don't lose any of that. You basically lose junk. So I would assume that can be looted.
You can probably grab somebody else's junk.
That's correct.
Okay.
You just get a handful of junk and then you take off.
Amen.
They talked more about perks and how going back to character creation, how perks work and how special is taken into account. And it became a card system, which is kind of interesting. Instead of investing points into perks per se, you're investing into special. So you're investing into, like, you put a point in special and then you go and you can find X cards that kind of fit from the S or from the P. You want perception because you want to be able to do VATS really well. So the cards are all kind of related to each part of the acronym. And as you pick up cards, the points that you get as you level define what the cards, like how many cards you can kind of have, and the cards have point values. So if you have 2 points in, say, P for perception, you can have 2 cards that are each worth 1 point, or you can have 1 card that's worth 2. And you can take 2 of the same card and merge them into 1 card, so now it becomes a bigger, stronger card with more points. So now it's a 2-point card. And you'll build them up. So you'll have like decks of cards, basically. It's not a deck builder, but you'll have lots of options.
Sure.
And, and they kind of mentioned also that early on, you'll get perk packs where you'll every like 2 levels, to start with. And then I think it's every 5 levels after you hit 10, you'll get a packet, like a card pack that actually like peels open and cards come out and there's a stick of gum, and the stick of gum actually goes into your inventory and you can use it to stave off hunger. So you'll get a variety of cards, and maybe they're ones you already have, but maybe they won't be, and then you can choose to use those without having paid the perk price, which is a weird way of saying it.
Pay the perk? No, it's a fun way. It's pay the perk price.
Pay the perk price.
Pay the perk price.
Perkin.
Perk. Do they sell these with real money? Is this one of the
No.
things?
That's just straight up part of the game. Like that's just you level and you get the perk packs and you get
Did they talk
cards.
about anything they're going to be selling for real money?
I didn't hear anything about microtransactions. No.
So we don't know if unless have they already come out and said this is going to be? No, everything they've done.
No, they want money.
Yeah, they're going to be charging for something. So maybe it's just a case of they haven't told us what part of this thing they're going to be charging for yet.
Probably.
I can't imagine it would be those, given the way you talk about it, because then you're talking about paying for game advantage, right?
Yeah, and I mean, so the way they kind of explain this is because they did talk about power levels and how that would kind of work out, where the game itself has its own ramp, like so your super mutants or what have you that are actually missions in the game, those have a skill ramp, those have levels, and you'll follow that. Okay. But PvP, much like other games that have this kind of thing where you've got a level and you've got all these guns, they kind of bring the levels, they normalize them a little bit so they're a little closer. There's still going to be gaps because people are going to have things that are going to be better, but they're not making them, they're trying to like normalize them so it's better, but it's not immediately like you're level 50, I'm level 1, I'm dead right away. Like I can't do anything. So
I'm getting kind of more of a like Borderlands feel from this thing than like a traditional online shared world thing. Like maybe Borderlands with a better online shared world.
It's like if Borderlands had more survival stuff to it, I think that would fit this. But my kind of understanding here is it is a survival game first and foremost. So it's you got to eat, you got to drink water, and I don't know. Remember how we want Borderlands 3? You remember that? I do. I still do. I think.
What is that going to be in this day and age? Like they can't just make.
It's going to be a battle royale.
Another game. Borderlands, right? Oh, probably will be something.
The entire they're going to do a battle royale because what's his name? That's the big old ripped muscular dude that.
It was one of the gunman. Torg.
Yeah. Torg.
Yeah.
They're going to do a battle royale because Torg already has an arena that's in canon.
Well, so does Moxie for that reason.
But. Yeah, exactly. There you go. You've got Team Moxie and Team Torg.
I just don't know. Like, I mean, you could make kind of another of what Borderlands 2 was, and I'd be okay with that. I think we'd probably still play that, but I feel like do you do that? With games like Fallout 76, with games like whatever Rage 2 is probably going to be coming out. Like,
good question.
And I feel like Gearbox isn't one to rest on their laurels so much either. Like, I feel like they would try and kind of raise the stakes a little bit.
But I also think that Gearbox has some inability to pay attention to things. I think what the hell was that game called? Battleborn. Good example of that. The handsome, not the handsome collection. What was the Borderlands? The
pre-sequel.
The pre-sequel. Like you did Borderlands 2, and then everything we do is gold, except everything you've done after that has kind of been in the toilet, buddy. So.
You're talking about Gearbox as an entity too, because they didn't make pre-sequel; they farmed that out. And they have a publishing arm. So I feel
fair
like
enough. I guess it depends on who makes Borderlands 3. Is it the people that made Borderlands 2? Is it the people that made the pre-sequel? Or is it the people who made Aliens Colonial Marines, which is what I'm crossing my fingers for?
That's another good question because they have dropped, like the same writer's not going to be there, but do you do the same humor? I feel like the Borderlands 2 humor, as much as I liked it, and probably would still like it if I played it again, hasn't necessarily aged well, nor would I maybe want to see it in another game, like... How does that game evolve? I guess is what I'm asking.
Absolutely. These are excellent questions. You have the people that really were responsible for that. I don't think are there anymore. I think they've taken off, and you've got
Mikey's not
there anymore. He's doing movies for Mikey, and I can't remember the other guy's name who it's killing me right now, but.
The writer, you're right. We can't remember his name.
Yeah, but in any case,
he's not there.
Yeah, so.
Whatever. Can we talk about Doom now?
Yeah. Okay. Look, Fallout 76.
Do you have anything else from Fallout 76?
No. Fallout 76 looks interesting. I didn't hear this from the webcast. But I read in a few different places that the beta may not actually be happening and that they're just going to go straight to an early access thing. So it's going to be less of a you needed a beta in the first place beta code and more of a, hey, come buy our game and play it in early access.
Well, I heard a lot of doubt as to whether or not it was a true beta because they didn't remember they gave it a funny acronym like break
BETA.
Everything something. Yeah.
Test and environment.
Yeah, and you get it by pre-ordering the game. Like there was a lot of question. Not that they wouldn't take data from it, but whether or not it was really that was the sole purpose of it, type thing. So
right. Who knows?
Who knows? We don't. Either way, it sounds like you're more up than down with more information. It sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, I a couple of notches here and there. I'd say it's okay. My interest is there. It's tentative as to how I feel about what they're. I can absolutely tell you this is another one of those games that because of the license, I'm way more willing to give it a shot.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, because it's a Bethesda game that they're doing all online, I am way more reticent than I might normally be. We'll see.
They don't have a great online track record, do they? Although they've been doing Elder Scrolls for freaking
their
ever.
Track record with Fallout's a little iffy. I like Fallout 3 a lot. Fallout New Vegas is great. Fallout 4, meh. But they're not really like it's that gatekeeping Fallout thing. They're not really Fallout, but they're kind of Fallout. I don't know. Whatever. I like Fallout. They're fun.
Okay. All right. Now can we talk about Doom?
Let's talk about Doom. And
Doom Eternal, 7 minutes of gameplay, and I did
Doom
watch
looks
this.
amazing.
I'm surprised. This was, I think, both of our top games of 2016?
16, I think.
No surprise, really, that we're excited about Doom Eternal?
After watching... No, I'm not. Not surprised.
Still very surprised at how much I loved that gameplay.
So good.
Like, it wasn't just more of what we liked from the first game, more of what I liked from the first game, whatever, but I counted at least 5 new traversal mechanics.
I freaking love the hook shot. Whatever the hell that is. The hook shot looks amazing. And I want to mention this before you keep going. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I love the fact that this Doom game, and maybe it's just what they showed, but it feels like because of the hook thing, they're adding a lot of verticality to this. Like those levels are going to be tall and wide.
And he's swinging on poles.
Yes, doing the gymnastics.
Was there a sidestep in the last game, like a dash to the side?
I don't think there was a dash. I don't remember there being there was just running. You just ran.
I don't remember there being, but I historically don't use those when they appear in games, so
True.
I don't know.
Fair.
But that was in there. Wall climbing.
I believe it's called mantling.
Sure. Well, no, he was like. Because they had mantling.
No, he did. Yeah, no, he does climb the wall.
Yeah,
that's right. I forgot there was like a gate or
hand.
something, and he actually climbs. He Spider-Man's. Yeah,
he does. He's Spider-Man's. While there are spiders around.
I loved the little bit that they showed on Phobos where the Doom Slayer's walking through the. He's like walking through the command center, and all of the people are like they're looking all weirded out.
Oh, I missed it.
And then he has to go into a room that it needs a key card, and one of the scientists is he's sitting down at a computer. He's got the key card around his neck, and the Doomslayer grabs the key card and drags him over to the thing. And the guy, he's like not fighting him. They're not attacking, or he's not attacking them. He just grabs him and just puts him up to the thing and then puts him back.
I didn't see that. I watched this YouTube video that's just the gameplay, I guess.
But. That was gameplay at the very, very end. It was the last thing they showed for it. They were like, well, since you like that, here's some stuff from Phobos. And Phobos,
a lot.
The cool thing on Phobos was that was like, it reminded me of the part in Duke Nukem when you go to the spaceship. Like you're away from all this hellish destroyed Earth, and now you're on this big silver spaceship with Doom monsters everywhere.
It's cool, man. The attitude looked the same. He's like punching through walls.
The glory kills looked fantastic.
Glory killing. There was a bunch of new ones. In fact, I want to say there were different ones for the same enemy. Like they did different things and different glory kills happened.
And I actually think that was in the first game too. It just depended on which direction you came from.
Oh, that's right. You could do it to limbs, actually, if you did it on the
depending on what you were looking at. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, there's new animations in there, which is
I like that his new suit has that like the giant sword. Mm-hmm. That was cool.
That was cool.
All the guns look good.
It looked like a perfect balance of old and new. Like immediately. That was, and maybe it's just, this is all loaded, preloaded in my brain. But watching that trailer like less than 10 seconds in, I'm like, it's already striking the perfect balance again.
Yeah. No. The thing that absolutely blew me away is, we're talking about all the new stuff, is the fact that they were able to take a game, remake it into something that was just absolutely fantastic, and now they're able to make a sequel to that with all the same quality, it looks like, and they've somehow amped it up. Like,
yeah, I mean, they could have just done the
same thing
by the numbers sequel, yeah, and I'd be there.
I'd know 100%. You could just move the plot, don't add anything new to it. I'm there. DLC me for life on that.
Well,
but
they may, apparently. I saw another headline that I didn't actually read into that said that single player DLC is already in the works. One of
the things that I think this is a very, very cool addition. It's taking us a note from Ubisoft. And much like Watch Dogs, where you could invade other players' games, you can invade other people's games as demons. And you can have multiple people invade your game, so you can have like demons just fighting you. Now you can turn it on and off, just like in Watch Dogs. So you can go through the campaign without that. But if you want to play it with invasions on, yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. Now, all right. I remember when I first heard that about Watch Dogs, I thought it was amazing, but then it was kind of handled not like like when the person invades, it kind of stops everything and creates a kind of an encounter.
Right.
So yeah, I'm that kind of ruined that. Like I would want, and they probably never do this, for you to never know somebody else was in your game.
See, a seamless invasion. Like it loads in and you do not. Yeah, no, that's what I thought. I was hoping Watch Dogs would be.
And it never got there. Yeah,
and I don't think this is exactly going to be that either, but
probably not.
But it is cool. You can invade other people's games as demons.
Cool. Yes.
I don't know if you get to choose what demon you are or if it's a luck of the draw. It doesn't look like, I'm guessing you're not ever going to be like an uber demon. You're not going to be, anything crazy, huge and strong and hard to kill. But
yeah, I wonder. Well, they wouldn't even need to like change the health really, because the AI would be different. Like the person possessed demon would act differently.
Right.
I feel like in the middle of that, I'd be like, oh crap, this is not behaving the same way. Because part of what makes Doom great is because there is a kind of a predictability to, and how that all works together as you navigate the room is what makes it great. But yeah, throw a kink into that, throw a person into that. That could be super interesting.
No, totally. I love the idea of being a beholder and sniping somebody from a corner in the room they're not looking at, chucking a fireball at you while you're like, where is it coming from?
Could be so good. They'd never do it because then there's a chance that person loses progress because of you or
oh yeah, no, that's going to equal griefing real fast.
Yeah.
Come on, who doesn't want to get in? Like, of all the games to add that in, like Doom is one of the ones I never would have thought of, and the fact that they added it in immediately makes me excited to go and screw with your game. If you have that on, man, I am just gonna. That's it. I'm gonna order the game and just wait for you to be playing it, and then I'm just gonna keep trying.
Looks good. Excited. Really excited.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
The last Bethesda thing, which they didn't announce at QuakeCon,
which is weird.
I'm going to announce here. Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know why this didn't get attention at QuakeCon. It should
have. They apparently sent a cease and desist of sorts to Ryan Hupp, which is a fellow that lives in Philadelphia, who tried to sell The Evil Within 2 on Amazon as quote unquote new. Because after he purchased it, he never opened it.
Right.
And the letter's not here. This is coming from the Polygon article, but they paraphrased it here. It says they warned that the game must be taken down and threatened legal action for noncompliance In a letter, Voorhees made the argument that Hup's sale, Voorhees is the guy from Bethesda, was not by an authorized reseller, quote unquote, was therefore unlawful, quote unquote. Bethesda also took issue with Hup's use of the word new in selling the unwrapped game, claiming that this constituted false advertising. I have done this before, especially on eBay. I don't sell on Amazon, but if something's new, in fact, even if it's unwrapped and I've just never used it, I'm selling it like new. Or no, not selling it like new is if it's used but looks like new. I'm selling it new. All right. Sure. So and I think I have all the right to because I haven't touched it. Bethesda's argument actually, and they have responded to Polygon since then, says that they do not and will not block the sale of pre-owned games. We do not allow non-authorized resellers to represent what they sell as new because we can't verify that the game hasn't been opened and repackaged. It's basically a thing with the warranty. They can't,
which is the most hilarious nonsense.
It's stupid
because every game comes with that stupid Microsoft seal, and if you cut it, it's real obvious that you cut it. Like you're not
it's stupid.
And yeah, I mean, I guess you could pull the thing off, but those things are it's dumb. Nobody.
And there's
how many people are gonna buy a game, pop that thing off perfectly, and then re-shrink wrap it?
Well, from Ryan Hupp too. That's the stupid thing. Like from this, I guess I haven't looked at his Amazon thing. I don't know how wide-reaching it is. If this is $1,000 Amazon business or something like that. Even if it is $1,000 Amazon business, actually, that's what I'm talking about. Why would they do this to anybody but GameStop, who they're not doing this to? Who I literally bought Tekken, quote unquote, new from, unwrapped, without that seal you just mentioned.
Which is funny because also. You can buy a brand new game and turn it into GameStop, but they force you to unwrap it and take the seal off.
It's stupid that they would. The idea is patently stupid that they would execute it against a nobody somewhere.
Yeah, one single consumer. Yeah.
What?
No, it's dumb. I understand to a point what they're saying. I also understand that they're idiots. Like you don't.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No.
I don't
perfectly put.
Who are you going to like who's getting screwed over here? You know, like the guy who's buying it. Yeah, if he buys it and opens the game, you know what? You can take that just about anywhere and it's fine. They'll replace it because they'll go, "Oh, cool. Here you go. The same game, you just want it done."
I don't know what the end game is here, yeah.
It's what are you
weird.
What are you attempting to stop, Bethesda? What are you hiding?
What are you hiding?
Big resale.
Mediocre games. The Evil Within 2. Maybe that's the problem, actually.
That could be it.
They would rather that didn't get any more
They're like, yeah, keep it quiet. Keep it quiet. Come on.
Okay. Well, also not announced at QuakeCon was all this Red Dead Redemption 2 stuff.
Hey, Bethesda, get on it. You know, you're just going to get more traffic to your website.
Luckily, Rockstar's on the ball. So, okay. We've got an interesting thing here.
All right. I like interesting things.
How much do you want to talk about Red Dead Redemption 2? Because this is the first of what appears to be many gameplay trailers that they're going to do.
Yep.
I don't think I'm going to watch the rest.
Ooh.
Like I'm going to get this thing, and this looks as fantastic as you might expect.
Oh, I'm in. I pre-ordered it like the day after I finished the first game. So
I don't know what you like. It's a lengthy gameplay trailer here. It talks about the combat. There's some Deadeye stuff in there. Talks about horse mechanics.
You can pet your horse. You can groom them.
Well, they also will break in different ways, it seems like. Is that the correct terminology, Matthew?
Sure.
Okay. Can be broken in different ways? Don't you break a horse? How does that work?
You do. You break a horse. Usually you just you put them. It's kind of like a guillotine thing. It doesn't cut their heads off. It just breaks them.
I'm glad I asked.
It kind of goes up and they go.
And then there's a little on gang activities. Somebody spotted Marston by a fire with his family.
I also saw Sean Penn and Robert Duvall talking to some bloods in the corner. Colors.
Oh, okay. They're not in the game.
Going to make an obscure Colors reference that 8 people are going to go, oh man, I remember that movie. And then I'm going to say...
Can you make a non-obscure reference to the movie Colors is what
In Living Color?
Okay, fair enough. I'm sorry. I interrupted you.
Did you? I don't know. Game looks real good.
It does.
I'm going to buy it.
Okay.
It looks great, man.
Please say anything else. Don't let me stop you about this thing you want to, but I might be... reached my extent so far.
No, man, I'm gonna watch the rest of the videos. Because I'm gonna get my hype level to 1,000.
Okay.
Mostly because me personally, I have yet to be let down by a Rockstar game's story and gameplay. Like, it just hasn't happened. Going back to GTA 3, man. I love GTA 3. Vice City, still my favorite GTA game of all time.
Really? Okay.
I love it's aesthetic. It's purely the aesthetic and the
That's
soundtrack.
The 80s one?
Yeah. And all the cars look great. Miami, it's very neon. It looks like Scarface. Like, it's great.
Current gen, a Vice City 2.
Oh, I would lose it. I would go absolutely crazy, especially if they kept it in the 80s. Are you kidding me? I would buy every piece of content for that.
Oh, okay. Here's a Matt conundrum. You can only buy one. Vice City 2 or the 70s counterpart.
Oh. I'd have to go with the 70s just because I remember when they made the Warriors, and that was such a good game. And they made that early 80s New York look good, like just like the movie. So I think they can, even though that was, I guess, Rebellion. But
True. Okay.
Either way, whatever.
All right.
I like it.
Red Dead's coming. We've got to spend some time on this last thing as well, I feel like. So
Red Dead is coming, and we've got to spend a little bit of time on this last thing, I think.
You make a good point.
You make a good point.
We should do a podcast together.
We should do a podcast together. You know what I'm doing right now?
What?
I'm plagiarizing you.
Oh.
Yeah! Oh, fist pump. I'm dancing because I got you so good.
So this happened last week.
Is dumb, isn't it? Please write in and tell us how dumb it is.
There's been an update to this thing just on Saturday, and it's kind of the one I was waiting for that I didn't know existed until right now. Anyways, but IGN released a Dead Cells review, which I've somehow managed not to play so far.
Yeah, I want to get that and pop it onto my it onto Twitch because it's got Twitch interaction.
It looks real nice.
It's real fun.
But the review was done by an editor, Philip, which couldn't have a last name I could pronounce, so
I think it's Musin.
It's definitely Musin, but it might be Mayusin or Muchin.
Could be Mikan.
See?
Miucin. You pick one.
Mouse. Philip M did a Dead Cells review wherein admittedly small-time YouTuber named Boomstick Gaming, or that's the name of the channel at least, did his own review. And then did a review of IGN's review wherein he said, IGN stole my review. What do I do? ? Which just, your heart goes out from the very beginning.
Right away.
But then Jason Schreier picked it up. And as he does, he wrote up an article that brought out some very striking similarities.
Mm-hmm.
And IGN then fired this editor.
Yeah.
So.
And then following that, a couple more examples of his writing and plagiarism.
Yes.
Were found. One in regarding FIFA 18 and on the Nintendo Switch, and then there was another one regarding Samus Returns. So
yeah.
And we're not gonna read these because we'd have to read multiple things and it's a lot. But I would recommend, number one, go and read it because I think this is an interesting situation. I've gone over all the things that he wrote, the videos and all that stuff multiple times now to try and decide how I feel about this and where I fall on it. And I definitely fall closer to the side of IGN on this one than I do on his.
Well, okay, so
here's the thing. I want to caveat this with some of that phrasing though is super common. You know, like Metroidvania. It's a really common phrase. There was one other one.
It's the FIFA one has some, because across, especially, I mean, IGN's one of the biggest outlets. They're not necessarily doing criticism, you could say, which is where you'll run into something a little bit more nuanced or deep or whatever. So yeah, across big outlets, across, reviews as opposed to criticism, you're running into a lot of the same terminology. There's been remember the big thing about visceral, a couple years ago or something like that. That word got tossed around. It just was showing up everywhere to the point where everybody was backlashing against it. Yeah, gritty, mixed bag, sure. And I actually did think that too when I read the FIFA stuff.
Yeah.
But I think the issue that arises is that plagiarism isn't just, a word for word thing.
Right, right.
Like, and I hope nobody's actually looking at those examples and being like, what? It's not the same sentence. It's not plagiarism, because that's not the thing. Hey, I went to college. I know how it works. You read
firsthand. I've been in trouble for it.
You rephrase it, Actually, you just put quotes around it, and then you don't got to worry about it.
Yeah, and then you put it in your bibliography.
There you go. Hey, see?
We're college professors.
Philip M.
Welcome to 0 Hit Points University.
But to me, it's like I'm completely, and we'll talk about his response, but I'm completely on IGN's side on this. Like, I get that it doesn't say the same thing, but it's too similar. And it's too often. Like these are just the examples they've found in a week,
Right. And I mean, it's who knows how he could have been doing this since like second grade. I wrote a story.
Right.
The fox was in some shoes. He's the crappiest Dr. Seuss plagiarist ever.
Doesn't even rhyme, but that's how he got away with it. It's obvious to me that he is just rephrasing. It's very conscious to me.
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
It certainly reads that way, and I like I said, I fall more on the side of IGN than I'm getting on his side on this one.
Well, to give his side, then he did finally release a video that has since been taken down as a.
He took it down because it got ratioed to hell. It was a bad video, and people were saying that his excuse was crap, and he got down.
It was.
Oh yeah, no. His excuse is garbage.
As far as excuses go. Because he starts out, number one, he says it's not intentional. He said the Dead Cells thing was not intentional, straight up. So already a bad apology. But then he apologized to IGN, everybody else, because IGN did get kind of raked through the coals for this, even though he obviously seems to be working alone in this plagiaristic endeavor of his.
He's a solo attacker.
And regardless of the fact that IGN fired him, they're getting a little bit of heat for this, which maybe they should on some hand, but I don't think you should drag other writers for obviously this stupid mistake.
So to be clear about this, though, I'm not excusing anything. My point is, if Boomstick Gaming is a small YouTuber, it's going to be hard for IGN to find that particular review and say yes, he copied it, like edit it beforehand. So
right.
The downside also to that is how many other things did he plagiarize that didn't have enough people to make it go viral and get attention to it, That's part of how dirty this gets, is because freaking Boomstick Gaming, like the dude's out there doing his best, right?
And not necessarily raking it in. And then he's got a guy from IGN, like arguably the biggest. Is it the biggest gaming site out there?
Probably, yeah. I would say it probably is, yeah.
Who's got to steal from him? Like that's dirty, man. Like that guy. Like, okay, again. Before I pile on this dude too much, let's back it up first.
Yeah, we want to make sure we get his address out there so we can beat him with a sock full of oranges.
To his response, he also never apologized to Boomstick Gaming.
Right.
Apologized to IGN, but again, I guess if he's going with this was unintentional. But then started laying into the other guy, or Jason Schreier actually, for bringing up the FIFA 18 thing as well. And he outright denied that. Yeah. But then the FIFA 18 guy got on him and was like, I can't believe you're actually denying this too. Which, yeah, look at those examples.
They're strikingly similar.
Yeah. How is this devil's advocate me? We both like Keanu Reeves and Al Pacino.
Huge fans.
How does this get done unintentionally?
I mean, the only way I can imagine this getting done unintentionally is you legitimately read so many reviews so often, and that's all you're writing reviews, but that's what you're doing. You're reading reviews when you're not playing games. You're reading what other people are saying about games that you've played that maybe you didn't review.
And you have some sort of sentence structure retention that's almost abnormally
abnormally the same, and you're like,
right.
Oh, I can pick out phrases here and there and out of each one of this part of review and say, okay, if I keyword this, it'll work.
I just can't. It just doesn't work. Like he takes the sentences, he changes just enough out of them, and that's what gets put down. That's just exactly what it looks like.
It's a disappointment.
No, it's a super like again, I still can't even convince myself, but at best, maybe reviews are in a weird place because a lot less emphasis is being placed on kind of finishing the game before you put out that review. Like that used to be a cardinal sin, you know, not finishing the game and writing a review about it.
Right.
Whereas nowadays it's kind of like,
how do you get time, right? I mean,
Well,
you got to review 5 games in a month or whatever, and they're 30 hours each.
for IGN, you make the time. Like
They've got enough people.
whatever. Yeah. But you know, if he's trying to reach, you know, this is his happy medium where, you know, a lot of reviewers are kind of putting in the requisite amount of time to be like, you know what, I get this. I mean, they say that in the review, so that's something. I don't know. I haven't actually read his reviews word for word, so I don't know if that's what he's getting at, but I don't know. Maybe this is his answer to that. It's not there. Nope. Still couldn't do it. Sorry, dude sucks.
You know, it's no good. And you do not get the 0 hit point stamp of approval.
No, we give those out now.
You get the stamp of ugh.
So he gets the stamp of ugh.
I don't know. I don't like the
We
stamp
don't have
thing.
any stamps, Matt.
We
You
need
know
to
what?
we
Okay.
need to go back
Hey,
to the drawing board on this.
We need to go back to the podcast
At
board
0hitpoints.com.
where you can Facebooks and Twitters and talk to us and email us at podcast@0hitpoints.com, and we'll read it on the air. You'll be famous. And then
Yeah,
we'll
don't
be
for-
famous.
And PAX tickets for sale Sunday.
Yes. Everything we talked about.
Monday,
don't forget everything we
Friday.
talked about in this show.
Pick a show. Pick a day. Not Saturday. For sale.
See you next week.